Season 8 is here, and as excited as we and Fred are to talk about all the things that they've added, we can't forget the things from Season 7 that did not make it to the new season. Kicking off the list, you'll notice that Fred's house is no longer there as he has been evicted, and pirates have taken him captive on the pirate ship, and we need your help on deck, mateys, so that we can get the booty. No, not that booty. Speaking of booty, though, we're giving away free gift cards to our top 5 gaming fans every video for the beginning of Season 8. We'll be picking a few people from the comments, and all you guys have to do is click like, subscribe, and turn on push notifications. There's also random gift card codes like these ones that you can find in the video to get free V-Bucks. Good luck to all, and to all of Fortnite. But as we welcome you to the show, it's now time to get into the top 5 things removed in Fortnite Season 8, starting with the number 5 spot, which is the Sneaky Snowman. So they haven't been around for exactly long, but the Sneaky Snowman has been removed with the Season 8 update. They didn't show up until the 22nd of January, but were perfect for that winter vibe that we were all experiencing, not only in real life, but within the game as well. The Ice King event had just happened a few days prior, leaving the entire map blanketed in snow, velvety soft snow, so it kind of made sense to add them in shortly after. They were essentially a next-gen bush item. You could put it on and attempt to hide in plain sight, and the best part about them was that they had 100 health, so even if someone spotted you, it would take them a moment to break that snowman and cause any real damage. You could put up with a giant snowman covering the screen. It actually worked well as a second shield in fights, and you could also throw them at opponents, temporarily disabling their ability to shoot or use an item if you got really good at hitting your enemies with them. You could even eject players out of vehicles, and with a plane, they'll be left to fall, giving you an easy elimination. Obviously, though, this is a seasonal item. The snow has receded back to polar peaks, and it makes perfect sense that the Sneaky Snowman would get removed at some point down the line. Not many people expected it to be just barely a month after they were introduced, though. If you do ever want to revisit the Sneaky Snowman, you can always pop over to the creative side of Fortnite, where they still have a lot of the vaulted items that you can play around with. But in number 4, we've got the shopping cart. Now, this item will never be forgotten in Fortnite. Not only did it glitch Fortnite out like crazy until they finally got it right, but it also happens to be the very first vehicle type that was introduced to Battle Royale. Back in the beginning of Fortnite, the community weren't entirely sure if we'd see any vehicles, and there was no clear sign from Epic Games about it, but we were given clues throughout the actual Battle Royale island. Shopping carts littered all corners of the map, but were all filled with rubbish and items. Like a lot of people would, most assume them to just be part of the decorations for the map. However, people began to notice shopping carts that were positioned in some very suspicious places that could be found all around the original dirt track on the east side of the map. You could even find a few of them all lined up along the starting line. Thinking it's just a coincidence? Well, you could also find shopping carts at locations with car parks, like Flush Factory, that had these carts lined up in the parking spaces. There were a few more hints, but eventually people no longer wondered if we would get a vehicle. It was just a matter of when. Then on the 30th of May, 2018, they brought in Fortnite's very first vehicle. Well, kind of. It's just a shopping cart, but it did the job for the time. Okay, it didn't really do that either, but it was kind of fun for doing stupid stuff and generally having fun in the game. At first, they had some massive glitch problems, as you'd expect with all new things in Fortnite, but after they were done fixing all of that, they had to go ahead and fix all the map-breaking glitches that people had discovered with them, which I would be willing to bet took more time to try and fix and figure out than it actually served as useful to us players, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Eventually, the shopping carts were all bug-proof, but they still just wouldn't be a reliable source of transportation. You'd often find the shopping cart flipping over the tiniest of bumps. It had its fun, though, and with the launch of Season 8, we'll be saying goodbye to our very first vehicle. And in number 3, we've got the all-terrain cart. The most surprising part about the vehicle removal is that not just the shopping cart got removed, but also the all-terrain cart. This epic golf buggy was first introduced on the 12th of July with a whole bunch of new locations, including Lazy Links. It could fit 4 people, 2 in the front and 2 standing on the back. The 2 back passengers could even perform emotes while they were being driven, about to avoid being shot or just have a laugh. You could perform a boost, which was built up to 3 different power levels based on how long you can drift for, and the roof was also bouncy, which in all honesty rarely came in use, and there weren't too many problems with this vehicle, to be honest. For the most part, it went over relatively smoothly. The shopping carts were okay, but they were so slow paced that most people would rather just run. Now that the golf carts were here and had boosting abilities, it actually became the type of vehicle we all wanted. Big enough to get the squad in and fast enough to get you to where you want to go, as long as you didn't flip it or accidentally go through a rift, land wrong, or kill yourself. The only problem people really had with it is that your hitbox felt so much bigger when you were in the vehicle. Plus, it made so much noise that you could easily find yourself being ambushed from someone who's heard ahead. Not exactly the type of vehicle that you'd take on a stealth mission, although this Season 8 Volcano seems to have almost reset Fortnite. It's gotten rid of the trolleys, it's gotten rid of the golf buggies, and so much more more that have put a lot of the game back to its basics. And in number 2, we've got the Chiller Grenade. A lot of the sneaky snowmen, the Chiller Grenade, was also a recently featured winter item that has been removed by the heat of that volcano. Showing up on the 29th of January, just gone, this Chiller Grenade was something a lot of people didn't know that they would like so much. A lot of people just assumed it would freeze people in place for a short amount of time, or perhaps give them ice boots as if they were hit by a chiller trap, which is half right, to be fair. The best part about them was that the Chiller Grenades sent people flying a short distance. Just recently, before these were introduced to the game, we had got to experience items like the Impulse Grenades and Shockwaves, throwing your opponent around the map or trolling your friends. These were great fun, but were vaulted, and the Chiller Grenade was almost like a hybrid between an Impulse Grenade and a Chiller Trap. That tiny impulse from the grenade, combined with the ice boots, will leave them sliding for some time if you manage to catch them off guard. When they're on a hill or some stairs, then even better, they'll have next to no control whatsoever while they attempt to stop themselves flying out of the circle in a rushed panic. Fortunately though, it seems like Fortnite are moving onto sunshine and beaches now with the Season 8 update, and all the cold items are getting stuck back in the vault, only available on creative. And as for the honorable mentions, we've got a few honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is going to be Wailing Woods. Can we get a rip in the chat for Wailing Woods right now? Rest in peace, Wailing Woods. This location, treasured by all and supported all us noobs out there since day 1 of Fortnite Battle Royale's release. We salute you. You did your job well. We spent many a days harvesting your magnificent forest, honing our building skills, and then camping in the bunker anytime someone approached. For any artists or writers out there, this was the best location for you to build an epic pyramid or top 5 gaming sign. Now, the actual volcano is so big that it's not just Wailing Woods that was affected, but the area where Wailing Woods used to be has now been mainly replaced with a new desert island type forest that now covers pretty much the entirety of the northeast corner of the map. There's a few pirate structures around the bottom of the volcano, and at the top of where Wailing Woods used to be, Fortnite have now brought us a brand new location, Sunny Steps, a very colorful and bright Aztec looking area of the map. And in at number 2, we've got Lazy Links changed to Lazy Lagoon. Yup, Lazy Links is gone. This explains why the golf buggies are too. I mean, the trailer and that area of the map don't give an exact explanation for what happened at that area of the map, but let's just assume that the earthquake in the volcano basically just made Lazy Links sink into the ground, creating the Lazy Lagoon we've all probably been exploring. Personally, I'm already loving Lazy Lagoon a lot more already. It's nice not having all that open greenery from Lazy. The whole area looks as though it's going to be the new Loot Lake, except this lagoon has a giant pirate ship in the middle with a small docking village right next to it. It's straight out of a pirate scene, and to be honest, if someone just showed you that area of the map without knowing how you got there, you most likely wouldn't realize it was the same island. They've done a brilliant job of constantly bringing us variety to the same map. But in at number 3, we've got Tomato Temple. One of Fortnite Battle Royale's most famous side storylines involves the tomato lore and the original Tomato Town. This quiet little pizza restaurant was just minding its own business when a rift in time and space teleports the giant tomato head back in time, changing the future in an instant, creating the Tomato Temple most of you know today. Now, with the rise of this volcano, it has mixed up that location a bit, not too much. Just as we hoped, the Tomato Temple is halfway up the mountain, but just slightly more ruined and separated because of all of the islands moving. Something else that's worth noting is that Sunset Steps seems to be another location based on the Tomato Head storyline. You can find certain Tomato Head decor around the Aztec pyramids, like the tables for one obvious example. Perhaps this tomato worshipping tribe was bigger than we thought, and the volcano has only just revealed this location. But in at number 1, we've got the X4 Stormwing. Finally, the number 1 spot. On the 6th of December, that's when planes were introduced to Fortnite. It's not even been 3 months since we got the X4 Stormwing plane, and it feels like it's been in the game for way too long already. Planes had barely been out for weeks when people began to notice just how annoying they could be for the Battle Royale game modes and build battles. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of bombarding the enemy with a rain of bullets just as much as the next person and crashing into their forts, but it didn't really turn out as well in the game than it does in my imagination. I mean, you could often find players using planes to simply camp out in the skies, avoiding any battles on the ground, or just flying away from danger, or just, you know, swooping down. It's like kind of annoying when you're trying to gunfight, and there's just planes everywhere. It's like World War II. That's what they were going for, and that's why the game is constantly changing. I think it adds something fresh to the game, so really happy they did decide to do that. But the fact that they're out of the game, I'm happy about that too. Now, there are even a few Fortnite compilations where players were caught purposely missing their shots on each other just so they could last for as long as possible in the sky. Fortnite did attempt a few updates, like removing the plane's ability to charging through buildings, but I don't think the community was going to be swayed on these planes. Too many people were against them, and the community had become an angry mob when it came to talking about planes. Seems like Fortnite decided to vault it altogether after hearing the painful cries of its community, and in Season 8's release, we've had 3 vehicles vaulted, leaving only the Driftboard and the Quad Crasher. But that has been our list of the top 5 things removed in Fortnite Season 8. Be sure to smash that like button if you've enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new, push notifications on, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.